Feeding your barren or maiden mares, really it just depends on body condition. So if the mare is underweight, obviously she needs more feed, and if she's overweight you need to restrict her pasture. And the other important consideration is vitamin and mineral contribution. So it's really important that they get adequate vitamins and minerals. If pasture's really good, then they might just need a balancer pellet, something like Dunstan Pasture Plus or Dunstan Multi Ultra, and that gives them those nutrients in a very small intake of feed. If they're underweight, they'll need a full feed, so they'll need that higher intake feed, more like a Dunstan spelling mix or a full feed. In regards to intakes of feed, again that just depends on body condition. So if the mare's light, she obviously needs more feed. We have a rule of thumb that no more than 2.5 kgs of concentrate should be fed in a single meal, and so if you have to feed more than that because body condition requires it, that needs to be fed over at least 2 or 3 feeds a day, and that's just to maintain digestive health, which is so important. In regards to, so obviously you're feeding more than 2.5, you're feeding twice a day, otherwise just once a day. A lot of breeding farms obviously like the benefit of feeding twice a day is you get to check the stock, which is obviously really important in a breeding farm situation. Yeah, monitoring mares, it's really difficult for mares and young stock in a mob situation. I think the easiest thing, we obviously can't stand there while they all eat. Some farms will put out an extra feed so that the slower mare, if they're moving around, there'll always be a free bucket. The other thing, kind of, if you've got a mare that really is struggling, she needs to come out of that group. If you find that she's just not able to maintain body condition, move her out of the group into a group of either lighter mares or on her own for a period of time. Pasture is obviously really important and is the first choice of feed for horses, and they maintain, a lot of mares can maintain body condition on good quality pasture alone and even some haylage, and if your mare's doing that, then the use of the balancer pellets are important. Regionally there is a difference obviously depending on what part of the country may be in drought or may get more rainfall. Pasture analysis are quite often handy because these can be done to check the mineral status of your pasture and therefore what's coming from the pasture and what you might need to supplement with your feed and balance the shortfalls up. It means that you're making a really economical feeding because you're using your primary calorie source, your pasture, as your primary calorie source and topping it up with those key minerals. Yeah, the early pregnant mare, her requirements are really just the same as a maintenance. By the time the mare gets to 7 months of gestation, the foal is only 25% approximately of its birth weight, so her requirements don't change. And I think probably one of the biggest concerns can be with people overfeeding early first and second trimester mares, because we don't want those mares to carry too much weight into their third trimester. Obviously we want them covered, but the concept of feeding for 2 is probably not ideal. So you can keep your first trimester mare just on her current feeding regime when she got in foal, and the use of a balancer pellet can be really useful there too. The last trimester of the mare's pregnancy is the last third of her pregnancy, so approximately the last 3 to 4 months prior to obviously foaling. It's really important the last trimester of the mare's pregnancy. This is a time when the foal grows about 70 to 75% of its birth weight, and so her needs for protein and energy increase obviously, but as important to that is mineral requirements. So there's a lot of research that shows that fetal liver stores are generated in the foal during that time as a fetus, and so if the mare isn't provided with those minerals, that can't be done. The foal can't generate those liver stores, which will subsequently help with skeletal development. There's a lot of research to show that foals provided with adequate copper can help heal their own copper lesions in the future.